Alright everybody, here we have my 2005 Corvette. It's an automatic and I can't get it out of park. So let's take a look and see what's going on here. So there's the shift knob. I depress the brake and it's supposed to release it and allow it to come back out of park and into drive or reverse, but it doesn't. I've seen this quite a few times on YouTube, but no one has seemed to have it fixed. So today, we're going to go ahead and try to get this fixed.
Yeah. In the face of overwhelming odds, I'm left with only one option. I'm gonna have to science the shit out of this.
Alright, so the first thing we do is we get out the owner's manual, and on page 232 here it says that if you are in park and you cannot shift the car out of park, do the following. You need to hold the start button down until you go into accessory mode, and the car should release the shift lock. Let's try it. Okay, so it's in accessory mode, and can we move it now? Yes, we can. Okay, now the book says, of course, go ahead and start it and then select the gear that you want, but this is no good for our application because this is going to be a problem every time, so we want to fix that permanently. Now remember, in order for this fix to work, this accessory mode option has to allow you to move it out of park, because we have to remove this whole console, and that is impossible to do with the gear lever in park. So if after going to accessory mode you still can't move it out of park, then this video is not going to help. You need to go see the dealer. Sorry. Well, let's get to work. Alright, first things first, the center console has to come out, this whole thing right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this up. We're going to remove, let's see that, these two screws right here. We're going to gently pry up on the boot. Pre-loosen that right there. We're going to take out those two screws so that this centerpiece can come out. Those two screws are the only one holding in this panel, and it's just held in the rest of the way by retainer clips back here and up here. So we're going to grab firmly down here on both sides and pull until it comes loose. But be careful, don't pull it out, because once it's loose, we need to undo the wiring for the hazards, the heated seats, and the traction control down here. Alright, finally got the hazard disconnected, the heated seats disconnected, the traction control disconnected, the cigarette lighter in here disconnected, and a cigarette lighter here disconnected. Don't forget about any of those. All the wires for the seat heaters and the hazards, we just gently pull on the wires and they come out. On the two cigarette lighters, I had to actually get some needle nose pliers and get behind there and pull on the plastic socket. I'll show you that here in a second. But once those are done, the console just simply removes out of the way, and we're done with that part. Now as you can see, this is the cigarette lighter. You really had to get a wrench on there and pull that out. Here's the other one. Same deal, pretty tough. All the other ones though, very easy. Just gently pull on the wires and they come out. just fine. No trouble. Alright, well, let's get this thing fixed. Alright, once we got the console out, we need to get underneath here. It's very tempting to take out these 4 bolts, but don't touch those, you don't need to. This boot around the shifter is elastic. Just gently pull it up all the way around. There it is. And expose that mechanism down there. That's what we're after to fix this. Once you get the elastic removed around the shifter, very gently pull up right around the gear numbers. Very gently. Move the whole thing over on top. Now I got to remove this rubber piece. It's just held in with some very thin glue, so very carefully lift around the edges all the way around. And set that aside. Next thing that we need to do is take off this bezel ring right here. There are 2 clips, one on this end, one on this end. There's squeeze clips, so I'll get some needle nose pliers down there and squeeze those. Very gently pry them up. Very important right here. See this orange plastic piece? That connects this orange piece to the gear selectors. When you pry this piece up, you need to be very careful to remove it out of this white part, so you don't break it off. How do I know? Yeah, I just did that. Once you got that off, go ahead and undo the light and then set that aside. Once we have all of that out of the way, we can finally see the culprit. The culprit is this little lever right here, which fails to come back, allowing the gear shifter here to move back and forth. So we just need to take care of this little guy. I think what I'm going to do is just cut it right here, so I never have to worry about it. There it is. So there's the piece. Now we can see nothing preventing that from catching. Clean up that little bit, a little bit, put it all back together, and we should be good to go. Alright, now what we need to do is snap it all back together. Just be careful of this plastic piece though, that's what drives this orange indicator up and down. You need to make sure you get it in this hole very gently before you snap this bezel down. Once that's snapped into place, check the shifter and make sure that the orange indicator follows the numbers. Okay. Now the rubber seal. Reestablish the elastic around the shifter, making sure that's pushed down nice and secure. Reinstall the console. Don't forget to connect the hazards, the seat warmers, the 2 cigarette lighters, and the traction control. Alright, we got our console back in. It's just laid in position right now. It's not snapped in. A couple things we need to check. Got to make sure and double check that we have all of our electrical connections installed and that it has gone behind the lock here. And you want to have it lined up down here and down there. Once it's all lined up in place, just go ahead and give a good snap in. Make sure these holes line up for the screws. Keep this out for our seatbelt light. And we'll put the screws in here, the trim piece here, the 2 screws here. And then we'll fix this and replace the cover. Trim piece gets locked up in here. Making sure these holes line up nice and straight. Here's just a little trick. When you're messing with these 2 screws right here, I always put a finger underneath here as I thread them in and tighten them, because they are very prone to fall out, and if they do fall out, they go down into the abyss and you'll never see them again. Then line up your boot from the e-brake, push that down on that side and that side. Almost done. Just got to put this on and that, and then we'll test it out. Alright, last screw in there. Got that attached. Closes nicely. Everything is back together. Run some tests. And here we go. Hazards work. Heated seat works. Traction control works. Alright. Now, the big test. Does it work? Seems to work. Just remember, we took off that piece, so even without the brake depressed, the car can still go into gear. So be careful with that. Whew. Alright. Thanks for watching. Good luck.